tools, which was probably ill-planned because I have to open this paint with a bottle opener. Yeah, let's try it. Oh yeah, this will be fine. Woohoo! It's so satisfying painting. I don't know about you guys, but I really love painting. Like, it's one of my favorite things ever. There's something so satisfying about it. So we're gonna paint the wall back. Well, all the walls. I just don't know if I'm gonna get them all done today, but we'll see. So while I paint these little details, like right above this white part down here, I actually hopped on Instagram today and asked you guys to ask me some questions, so it'll make this vlog a little bit more exciting. I feel like I should put tape down here. Hold on, we're gonna do that first. Are you afraid of all the changes? And you know what? I don't think I'm really afraid. That's not really the right word I would use to describe it. Nervous for sure. Only because moving is always a little bit like nerve-wracking. You never really know how it's gonna go. So no, I wouldn't say I'm afraid. I'm just excited and nervous. Are you going to stay in Montana forever? We don't know yet. I wish I could tell you more. We still don't really know what our long-term plans are. As of right now, the plan is for me to go up to Montana until Blake comes home from this deployment. After this deployment, we'd like to find a permanent home. We just don't know where that permanent home will be. It could very well be in Montana, or it could be back in Washington. Those are kind of the two top contenders for us, but we just don't know yet.
It does, except the other guys,
Yeah.
they have a 13-hour flight.
Ooh, dang, that sucks.
I was like, wow, I thought mine was bad.
Ah, I hate long flights, but hey, you know what? If you can sleep, you'll be golden.
Yeah, one of the things is too, I was talking to one of the guys, Lane. I was like, you know what? It sure as hell beats sitting in an LUD for however long waiting for a military flight.
Yeah. Are you excited?
I'm super excited. I went to the bathroom today. I looked in the mirror. I'm like wearing my nice, it's the golf like Callaway polo shirt.
Yeah.
Because I'm so used to having a pen like in one of the little pockets and everything from the uniform.
Yeah.
What everyone does with polos is one of the buttons like on the top. You just slide it right in there. So now I got like a pen sitting there, and I have like my keychain thing. And like my little badge and all this stuff. I'm like, I'm a fucking contractor now. I got my beard and everything. I'm like, this is awesome.
I'm so glad you are loving it so far. What's the most different thing about being a contractor versus being in the Air Force?
Everyone seems so more laid back. Everyone there is super helpful.
Yeah.
Hey, do you need any help? Are you good? Like, what do you need? It feels like there's a lot more communication. In the military, it's like, okay, we know you have to go do this. It's not on paper, but you have to go do this, and you're gonna go get it done, and the paper stuff will get done later. There's a little bit of that here, but it's like, no, you don't need to do that until it's on paper.
Yeah.
There's like all this paperwork that has to be done, but like they have to do it, and they're on top of it because it's their job.
Yeah.
So I'm at the pump, so I'm gonna get gas, and I'll call you right back.
Okay, sounds good. I love you.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye.
I am like blown away at how freaking happy he sounds. Blake never hated the Air Force. He was never somebody that hated everything that he did, but hearing him talk while he's had this new job it makes me so happy. I feel so happy because I can hear the happiness in his voice, and it's just, he just seems like a completely new person, and it's just so exciting. Hello. Hey.
So I was thinking about it today too. I wonder if it would be worth it to see if I could do like, if we want to go home to Washington and actually move there. I wonder if it would be worth it if after this deployment, if I came home to Montana and you actually ended up staying there and I did like a quick turn and went on another deployment, if that would give us enough money to actually legitimately go buy a house.
You think it would?
I think so, and I would be done for the year.
That would be pretty amazing.
Because if we did do that, it would hopefully get rid of the unknowing, are we going to rent? Are we going to go buy a place? If we buy a place, is it going to be like some little, kind of shitty place that
right.
we're not going to stay in that long? Like, I don't really want to rent again.
I don't either. I know how. I think we're in the same boat on that. Like, I would love to buy a house if we had the option to.
When I say quick turn, I don't mean like 3 weeks. I mean like 2 months being at home.
Yeah, which is not even like a quick turn.
Yeah, something like that. I'll be back in March probably.
Yeah, that would be great. And then if you were home for like March and April, and then you left again in like May, June, July, August, you'd be back for like your birthday if you did a quick turn and you had 2 months home. And then you'd be home for the holidays. You'd be home for the rest of the year. We'd have birthdays together, we'd have Christmas, we'd have Thanksgiving, we'd be together if we wanted to do that.
Yeah, depending on how this one goes, I don't think it would be such a bad idea.
I don't think so either. Another thing to think about is I'm not opposed to Montana. I'm not opposed to living permanently in Montana. If you wanted to buy a house, if we wanted to be in Bozeman or something, I know we want to be on the island. I know we want to go back to Washington. But if it would make sense for the time being just to have a location in Montana near your mom, like that's another option too.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to that either.
When you say quick turnaround and go back after like 2 months or something, we have to have enough time that you're home that we can kind of get a feel for locations that we want to live. So whether that's Washington, whether that's Montana, really getting a feel, both of us together, for the area that we want to live in, I think is really crucial. If we do want to live in Bozeman, having you home for a month in Bozeman, I don't think you've spent more than like a couple weeks in Montana at a time. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
So that's the other thing that we have to think about is wherever we want to go, we have to spend the time there to really get a feel for the area and not just like a vacation.
I love Bozeman and I love where my mom lives and I love that whole area.
I know. I do too. The thing with Montana that's hilarious to me is that it's almost as expensive as where we want to live in Washington. And that's what I don't understand. Like, you're in the middle of nowhere, Montana. You barely have an airport.
I agree with what you're saying, and I think it's very funny too, but I think it's because they're the exact opposite in the sense that
people go to Montana for the ruralness, not the city.
It's so far away from everything that it costs more to get everything there. And then when you're in the city, quote unquote city like Bainbridge, it's because it's a city and everyone has more money.
Right.
So it's like, it's the same price, but for different reasons.
Right. Okay, I love you.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh my goodness, this hallway. I finished painting my office and the guest room. So now we have yellow walls in here again. And it's echoey because there's like nothing in here now. There's just the guest bed. So now we can actually pack some more. I was originally gonna sell this, right? This is like an IKEA like dresser and it was in the guest room. And when you look at it, it's in good shape, right? Like it looks okay. But there's something wrong with it. Watch this, ready? I'll just move it from side to side and it completely wobbles. Do you see how much it's moving from side to side? It's also so heavy that it was almost impossible to get out of this room. So honestly, I'm just gonna take it apart and I'll figure out what to do with that later. What I'm working on today is actually sorting through our clothes because Blake's not here. He's not gonna come back here, so I can pack up all his clothes. And so far, everything in here is Blake's, and then a lot of the stuff in the closet is Blake's as well. So I'm gonna just pack up a lot of the stuff, and then we can answer some questions while we do that. How long will Blake be gone? His deployment length is planned to be 4 months. We don't really know how this is gonna go or what to expect out of all of this, so it's very likely that that might change or it might not at all. About 4 months. Are you excited to leave Las Vegas? Yeah, we're both really excited to leave Las Vegas. Not that we don't like Las Vegas, but we're just really excited to start fresh somewhere else. I've said this so much lately, but it is truly a new chapter, like starting completely fresh. And that is something I think worth celebrating. A lot of you guys have been asking about my job. Is there any change with your job? Since you'll be moving, will you change jobs or careers? So there actually has been a change with my job. I am no longer working for the company that I was working for previously. but I am still working from home and online. In addition to that, I've actually been dialing back the amount of work I've been doing lately just because of how many changes are going on with our lives. That's why you've probably seen a lot more vlogs lately. And a lot of the work I'm doing online right now is actually more creatively based. One example of something that I'm doing right now is I'm helping like my mother-in-law do some photography work. And that will probably continue, especially when I'm up in Montana with her. And from here, I can essentially just help her edit some of the photos before she sends them off to her clients. And it's a really great gig. I really love the creatively based work that I'm doing, because previously I was doing database administration kind of stuff, which wasn't bad. It was just very monotonous and it was the same thing every single day. But I've always been somebody who's been more creatively minded, and so doing this kind of work is actually what I love. So I'm just gonna continue doing this for now. But for now, since I am doing more part-time work, it's like the best of both worlds for us right now. I can make sure that Blake is getting the support that he needs while he, you know, starts his brand new job. But I have the time to pack up the house, and I can paint the room, and I can do all the stuff. I can focus a little bit more on YouTube. So right now, this is what I'm really loving to do, and we're just gonna continue doing this for the time being. Your cookbook? ? I can't wait. I love watching when you cook. I'm a terrible cook. First of all, I'm sure you're not a terrible cook, but on the note of the cookbook, that's definitely still something that I'm trying to find time for. Oh, that's definitely a shirt. It's still happening. It's still something I want to do, but honestly, we didn't expect that we'd be moving as quickly as we are. So it is still happening. It's still something that I'm trying to make happen. I'm not gonna give an ETA on it yet because it just is gonna depend on how we settle, when we settle, where we settle, basically. Do you have a plan for kids yet, or are you just kind of winging it? I loved how that was worded. So we've talked about kids quite a lot lately. The entire time we've been married, I've basically been in the ballpark of, I'm not sure when we're gonna have kids yet, I just want it to be after the Air Force. I specifically wanted it to be after the Air Force because I didn't want to have to care for kids by myself with all the deployments that Blake goes on. But when I say by myself, I mean by myself, not with family also. Because in Vegas, we don't have a ton of family. Well, we don't have any family around. So now that Blake is out of the Air Force, but deployments are still on the table, I honestly don't know anymore. I think we are literally just winging it. We'd both like to probably be settled somewhere, but a lot of it's really gonna depend on how this job works out for him. There's a lot of moving parts, so we're not really sure when we're gonna have kids. That being said, it's probably not gonna be all that far in the future. I just can't put a timing on it yet. Have you and Blake thought about kids' names, even though it may be a while out? We have actually talked about kids' names a lot. We kind of have a few that we really, really like. And the funny thing is that Blake really loves this one name. He would talk about it and be like, if we have a girl, I really like this name. So I don't know. I'm not gonna announce the name now. Even when, like, you know, we deal with pregnancy and stuff, probably isn't gonna be something that we're gonna talk about until the baby's here. Yeah, we've talked about it quite a bit, and there's a few contenders that we really, really like. What is one of the positives about being a military wife? There's a lot of positives. I haven't had a bad experience being a military wife at all. We've made a lot of really good friends within the military community, but also it's forced me to be really independent, and I'm really thankful for that. You know, at like a young age, you move away from everything you've ever known and you have to be a grown-up. And I think specifically being a military wife has just given me a level of independence that I'm not sure I would have found as quickly if I was just a regular wife. I loved this. How do you and Blake keep the romance alive when separated for long periods of time? Phones are a thing and cameras are a thing, and I will just leave it at that. But also we just have lots of really close, intimate conversations when we're separated, conversations that we might not have otherwise when we're together, and that really helps a lot too.